So I thought I'd do a little video on how I've gone removing my steering wheel off my M35 Stagea 2001 model, as I couldn't find anything on the web. So I thought, let's help fellow partners out. Started by removing these little knocks in here and then removing the screw behind it, which is actually it's not a Torx bit like it is in many of the other models. Like I was looking at the 350Z, similar to this. So this is a 10mm socket instead, or you can also use a Phillips head screwdriver, but I found the 10mm socket was good. It made it easier to get out. So firstly, you should disconnect the battery. We don't want airbags going off in our faces. Definitely don't want that. For me, this is a 10mm wrench. You probably don't care too much about that right now. So once I've removed the screws out from the side of the steering wheel, they basically hold the airbag in like that. And now we just need to disconnect these connectors back here. Another thing to note is the Stag only has one connector for the airbag. What I noticed on the videos for the 350 or the whichever one I was watching, I'm pretty sure it was 350, it had two connectors. You got to flick this little black clip up, which I just got a tiny little flat head screwdriver to flick it up. Sorry, I've only got one hand here, so flick up that little black clip there, and then the clip just pops out. No airbags popping in people's faces. It's been a good day. You can see what we're left with is that main screw off the spline there. That nut's got to come off, and then that will basically release the wheel. I do have to take this one off here, which I believe is for the horn, and I need to feed that one back through my Boss kit, because my Boss kit actually has a airbag light cancelling device, because I had the airbag light going constantly anyway. We're going to also be replacing the clock spring, which is a part of what I believe fixes that flashing airbag light if you're not changing your steering wheel. So I'm just going to get this clip out here now. So you can see from there, there's just this little stopper here. So you got to try and push this part down. I just slid a screwdriver, really tiny face screwdriver down there, like this. Slid it down, and then whilst I was sliding it down, I just pulled on it with some needle nose pliers. So this is a 19mm socket. There, I promise you, it's 19. So straight on here with the extender bar. Okay, that was an ordeal. If you've got a wife with strong enough arms, she can hold the steering wheel whilst you undo this. I tried using my knees, not good enough. Okay, then with a couple of belts from behind the steering wheel, she comes off. You need to release this one down here from this little clip here, and then just let it pass through. So this is what we're left with. Airbag cord coming out of here. This is the clock spring. I've just moved that, but I'm assuming because this was facing down that that's where it should have been. So now what we're going to do, I'm just flipping the screen so you can see. We're going to remove this one. And there. Boom. So this has probably been one of the easiest parts. Looks like you have to actually get these ones out too. Just showing you where I am. And there's another one, I think, down in there. If you don't have them, I recommend some trim tools because they allow you to get into areas like this and just twist them and move them, and things come apart. Like that. Continue to use this same wicked tool to pry open this section. The top popped off. That's the top there. That came off. So that was nice. And now I'm just sort of jimmying it in around here to get this section off to expose the clock spring. Okay, so 1, 2, 3 behind there, sorry. And there's also one down under there. That's got to come out. That one there. You're left with this fancy tool here, which is your clock spring. So once you've taken out the little screws down here, they didn't come all the way out, they just sort of unscrew and stay in there. You can now take these arms off. This part was the same as the Infinity or whatever I was watching. So the little flaps that you need to squeeze are here. This thing here, squeeze, goes down, little white part, and then underneath that part. Can you see where I'm pointing? That part there. So apparently there's something that has to pinch down in there, and if you look at my new one, it must be that top part there that's got to pinch down, but we don't have a lot of access to it. Maybe it's behind. It was behind. So tool of the day, this little fella here, got down in behind there and pushed on this, that there, to get it out. So now it's a matter of removing these little wiring harness things down here, 1, 2, and I've just removed one, which was there, the grey one, and then I'm going to remove the yellow one and the other grey one. So this is my new clock spring, yeah, with my airbag connector. It's got this little plastic plug on it here, which I'm assuming is what keeps it sort of pointing north, I guess, because this part up here was pointing straight up, and if I take that out, it's free spinning like this one. So I figure that that's there for a reason, so I'm going to leave that on for a couple of secs whilst I basically work out how this goes back on. and then we're going to go backwards and put everything back together, but I will be ending up with a different steering wheel. The thing that I just noticed is these two connectors here actually love each other, and they want to be connected before they go back into the harness. See there how they actually slide together. So another thing I just come across is this section here, this part here, doesn't actually come with this part here. Does not come with the clock spring assembly, only this part and the rest of the black area. So we have to remove this and put it onto our purchased one. So you can see the screw here, there, which I've already taken out, and where's the other one? There was a third one. Oh, here, just in there. Ooh, and another screw on the front there. Okay, so now this part here that I just took off my old clock spring, this surrounding part here, you'll see in there it engages into the new one in there. I think that's got something to do with your indicator cancelling. Because I should have really done this before, I didn't realise that this component was reused. I didn't realise it didn't come with the existing clock spring. And because I'd already connected my connectors and I almost broke them taking them out last time, I didn't want to try risking taking them out again. So they are my problem right now. But all I've got to do is get these 3 screws in again to fix this part back down. Alright, so now it's time to go back together. And basically it's just the reverse of what we did. So I've got my clock spring in now. I've still got this thing sitting on there because I don't want that to be removed until it absolutely has to. The harnesses are plugged back into the back. We've reassembled the back of the clock spring that you had to remove from your existing clock spring to place onto the new one. Screw in here. Screw back in here. Remember that clip back at the top? That's back in, clipped in the indicator arm, clipped back in the wiper arm. They went all in nicely. They went in first actually, and then I secured all this back and put the screws in. Now I guess it's a matter of putting my plastic parts back up. Okay, plastic is back on, top and bottom. Just need to put in the screws down the bottom, put those screws back in, and then also the one down the bottom there.